Here is the honest picture before you spend an afternoon on Rockwell's website. FactoryTalk View comes in 2 editions. View SE is the full server-based edition for large plant floor systems with multiple operator stations. View ME is the machine edition embedded directly in a PanelView terminal. They are not the same product, and they do not share the same project format. Rockwell offers a trial for View SE through their software portal. It requires an account, a quote request in some regions, and the install can run over 2 gigabytes. There is no browser-based or lightweight demo. If you want to understand HMI programming before committing to that install, that is exactly what this video covers. The skills you will build here: screens, tags, push buttons, pilot lamps, alarms, transfer directly to both View SE and View ME projects. The download guide and the free HMI simulator are linked in the description below. FactoryTalk View sits between Studio 5000 Logic's Designer and the plant network. Studio 5000 is where you write ladder logic. It runs on the Logic's controller, a compact Logic's or control Logic's processor. That controller talks to field devices, sensors, drives, solenoids. FactoryTalk View is the layer the operator sees. It reads controller tags over Ethernet and shows process values on screen. When the operator presses a button or enters a set point, it writes a tag back to the controller. The architecture is PLC logic runs on the controller, always, regardless of what the HMI is showing. The HMI is a window into the controller's data table. It reads and writes tags. It does not run logic. Safety interlocks, permissives, sequencing, all of that lives in the ladder logic on the controller. This is the same architecture across every serious HMI platform. FactoryTalk View, Wonderware in Touch, Ignition, Siemens WinCC. The HMI reads tags. The PLC holds the logic. Here are the concepts you need to understand before you open any HMI software. Screens are the pages the operator navigates between. Each screen is a canvas where you place widgets. Tags are the variables. A tag maps to a controller memory address. It can be a Boolean bit for a motor status, an integer for a speed set point, or a real for a temperature reading. Every widget on the HMI screen is bound to a tag. A push button writes to a tag when pressed. A pilot lamp reads a tag and changes color based on its value. A numeric display reads a tag and renders its value on screen. Push buttons come in 2 types. A momentary push button writes a 1 while held and a 0 when released, exactly like a physical push button wired to the controller. A latched push button, sometimes called a maintain button or a set reset button, toggles the tag state on each press. Use momentary for motor start and stop commands. The PLC's seal-in rung keeps the motor running after the button releases. Use latched only when the operator's intent is explicitly to toggle a state. Pilot lamps are passive. They read a Boolean tag and show green when the bit is 1, red or off when the bit is 0. A motor running lamp reads the motor feedback contact, not the start command. Alarms fire when a tag crosses a threshold. The alarm configuration in FactoryTalk View stores the condition, the limit, and the message. When the condition is true, the alarm appears in the alarm banner and the alarm summary page. The most important rule, and the one beginners break most often: interlocks never live in the HMI. If a motor must not run without a closed guard door, that interlock is a PLC contact, not a condition on the HMI button. The HMI button sends a command. The PLC decides whether to honor it. Now the centerpiece. Our free HMI builder at plcsimulationsoftware.com. You do not need an account for this demo. The builder opens with a blank canvas. The left panel has your widget palette, push buttons, pilot lamps, numeric displays, label text. The right panel shows tag bindings and style properties. Start by placing a momentary push button. Drag it from the palette onto the canvas. In the Properties panel, set the label to Start. Bind the right tag to motor_start, a Boolean. Change the color to green. Next, place a second momentary push button, label it Stop, bind it to motor_stop, color it red. Now add a pilot lamp. Bind its read tag to motor_running. Set the on color to green, the off color to gray. The lamp will go green when the controller confirms the motor is running, not when the operator presses start. That distinction matters. Place a numeric display, bind it to motor_speed_RPM, an integer tag. The display shows the live value from the controller. Now run the screen. The motor start and stop buttons are live. Press start. The running lamp goes green. Press stop. The lamp goes gray. Check your screen. The auto grader reads your widget bindings and confirms. Push button bound to start. Push button bound to stop. Pilot lamp reading the running status. 8 from 8. That is the same workflow in FactoryTalk View ME or View SE. Place widget, bind tag, set properties, test in runtime. FactoryTalk View Machine Edition looks unfamiliar the first time you open it. There are display files, global connections, a tag database, a controller communication setup. But the concepts map directly. Displays are screens. Global connections are the tag database that links your display objects to controller addresses. A push-button graphic element has a write expression field. That is your tag binding. A pilot lamp has a fill color expression tied to a tag bit. The alarm setup is in the alarm setup editor, where you define the tag, the limit type, and the message. The workflow is define tags in the global connections, build displays by placing and binding graphic elements, test in runtime mode. In View SE, the project adds a server layer. FactoryTalk View Studio connects to the FactoryTalk Directory. The runtime runs on a dedicated station or a thin client. The logic is the same. The tag binding concept, the momentary versus latched button decision, the rule that interlocks live in the PLC. None of that changes between the platforms. Learn the concept once. Apply it anywhere. To recap, FactoryTalk View comes in 2 editions. View ME for embedded panel terminals and View SE for networked plant floor systems. The HMI reads and writes tags. The PLC runs the logic. Screens, tags, push buttons momentary and latched, pilot lamps, alarms. These are the 5 concepts that make up 90% of industrial HMI work. Interlocks always live in the PLC rung, not in the HMI button. The free HMI builder at plcsimulationsoftware.com lets you practice this workflow right now, in your browser, without installing anything. The FactoryTalk View download guide and the HMI simulator are linked in the description. If this cleared up the FactoryTalk View picture, subscribe. The channel covers PLC and HMI programming from first rung to industrial controls work. See you in the next one.